friends. Today I am going to discuss about different soil forming factors. As we know, in the year 1900, Dokuchu, father of soil science, was given three soil forming factors. So they are that means here P means parent material, Cl means climate, O means organisms. So in the year 1900, Dokuchu was given three factors for soil formation. They are parent material, climate, organisms. In the year 1941, Jenny formulated the equation of Dokuchu by adding two factors. Two factors he was added. So the two factors are relief and time. Now the Jenny formulated equation is S equals to F into Cl Br Pt. Here Cl means climate, B means biosphere, R means relief, P means parent material, and T means time. So these are the five factors given by Jenny. In the year 1949, Joffe divided these five factors into active and passive. Active soil forming factors and passive soil forming factors. In the active soil forming factors, biosphere and climate will come. In the passive soil forming factors, parent material, relief, sometimes reliefs also known as topography. Relief also known as topography, and last one is time. Here in the year 1900, Dokuchu was given three soil forming factors. First one is parent material, climate, and organisms. Jenny formulated the Dokuchu equation by adding two factors. They are relief and time. Relief also known as topography. The equation for the Jenny is ClBrPt. That means climate, biosphere, relief, parent material, time. And in the year 1949, Joffe divided the soil forming factors into active and passive. Active soil forming factors are biosphere and climate. Passive soil forming factors are parent material, relief, and time. Now I am going to explain about each and every soil forming factor. First one is climate. So remember, this climate is most influential soil forming factor. This is most influential factor. And if you see the climate effect on soil formation, if you take humid climatic condition, so in humid climatic condition there is more rainfall. There is more rainfall. So due to high rainfall in the humid climatic conditions, so there is leaching down of basic salts. So leaching down of basic salts occur. So after leaching down of basic salts, only acids remains in the surface. Acids remains in surface. That means in the humid climatic condition there is formation of acid soils. There is formation of acid soils. In similar way, if you see in arid and semi-arid climatic conditions, there is less rainfall. So the rainfall in the arid and semi-arid climatic conditions is not sufficient to leach down the basic salts to the deeper layers. Coupled with it, due to high evaporation in the arid and semi-arid climatic conditions, results in the accumulation of basic salts like calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium in the root zone. That means in the arid and semi-arid climatic conditions there is formation of salt affected soils such as saline soils and sodium soils. And remember, if you see particularly cool humid, the climatic condition of cool humid. So in cool humid climatic condition there is formation of parjals. So as we know, parjals are formed due to the process of pargelization. So pargelization also known as acid hydrolysis. So the definition for the pargelization is accumulation of silica and removal of sesquic oxides. See, in similar way, if you see warm humid climatic condition, so there is formation of laterite soils. So as we know, laterite soils are forming by the process of laterization. This laterization also known as alkali hydrolysis. The definition for the laterization is accumulation of sesquic oxides and removal of silica. So that is known as laterization. This is about effect of climate on soil formation. And last point here, you have to remember, if the soils are formed mainly due to the influence of climate, so that particular soils are known as ectodynamomorphic. Ectodynamomorphic soils. Okay? Remember, if the soils are formed mainly due to the influence of climate, that particular soils are known as ectodynamomorphic soils. Examples: parjals and laterite soils. So these two soils are example for the ectodynamomorphic soils. This is about climate. And coming to second factor, that is biosphere. Remember, this particular biosphere including organisms and vegetation. Coming to organisms, first one is, if you see the example for the macroorganisms, they are ants, earthworms, millipedes and centipedes. These are the example for macroorganisms. Remember, due to burrowing activity of these macroorganisms, they retard the profile differentiation. So by retarding profile differentiation, ultimately they retard the soil formation process. But coming to microorganisms are bacteria, fungi and actinomycetes. As we know, these microorganisms are involving in the decomposition of organic matter, and also these microorganisms involving indirectly in the decomposition of mineral matter by producing different organic acids. Remember, if there is more decomposition of organic matter and mineral matter, definitely which leads to formation of soil. So this is about biosphere. And coming to third factor, that is relief or topography. So coming to the definition of topography, it is the configuration of land surface described in terms of elevation or slope. Remember, elevation can be measured by clinometer. Elevation can be measured by clinometer. And as we know, on steep slopes, if there is steep slope, there is less formation of soil. That means poor formation. Poor formation of soil because of erosion. But remember, if the topography is gently sloping to flat land, if the topography is gently sloping to flat land, this is ideal for soil formation. Why? Because if you see flat land, there is more leaching and percolation. Remember, if there is more leaching and percolation, which leads to horizon differentiation, ultimately which leads to formation of soil. If there is more leaching and percolation, there is more horizon differentiation. If there is more horizon differentiation, we can say there is formation of soil. And coming to next factor, that is parent material. So remember, parent material is nothing but it is the unconsolidated material which is situated above the bedrock. It is known as parent material. According to Jenny, parent material is the initial stage of soil system. That means initially soil formation and soil properties depends on the parent material. And remember, parent material is two types. First one is residual parent material and second one is transported. Residual parent material is nothing but if the soils are developed at a place from underlying rock and which cannot be transported to another place, that is known as residual or sedentary. Residual or sedentary parent material. So in transported, the parent material can be transported by different agents like water. If the parent material transported by water, which is known as alluvium. If the parent material transported by gravity, which is known as colluvium. If the parent material transported by lake water, which is known as lacustrine. If the parent material transported by wind, that is known as aeolian. If the parent material transported by sea water or ocean water, that is known as marine. In similar way, if the parent material transported by ice, that is known as till or moraine. So these are the examples for the transported parent material. Here you have to remember, parent material is the unconsolidated material which is situated above the bedrock, is known as parent material. This is two types, residual or sedentary and transported parent material. And remember, one of the very important point, if the soils are formed mainly due to influence of parent material, that particular soils are known as endodynamomorphic. So if the soils are formed due to influence of parent material, that particular soils are known as endodynamomorphic soils. Example for endodynamomorphic soils: calcimorphic and hydromorphic. So as we know, calcimorphic soils are formed due to calcification. Hydromorphic soils are formed due to glaciation. So this is all about parent material. And last one is time. Remember, the time that nature devotes for formation of soil is known as pedologic time. This is one of the very important bit for JRF. The time that nature devotes for formation of soil is known as pedologic time. This is one of the very important bit for JRF and SRF examination. And remember, there is another term, that is aging. Aging is nothing but it is the rate of soil development. Rate of soil development is known as aging. And remember, so as we know, soil formation is very slow process, but it is both destructive and constructive. So in destructive we can say weathering of rocks. In constructive we can say synthesis or formation of clay minerals. Formation of clay minerals. So here in time you have to remember the time that devotes for formation of soil is known as pedologic time. Rate of soil development is known as aging, and soil formation is slow process which including destructive and constructive. Destructive means weathering of rocks, constructive means synthesis of clay minerals. And remember, last point, for formation of 1 inch soil, for formation of 1 inch soil needs 800 to 1000 years. This is very important for JRF. For formation of 1 inch soil takes 800 to 1000 years. So this is all about factors affecting on soil formation. Thank you.